Dallas, people don't know what to do when it snows. Almost as cold as the basketball team that we have going on down here right now.
Up here on in Long Island, it's it's bone chilling. I had to freaking chisel myself out of my car a couple days ago. Um, it's not
Yeah.
fun. I can't wait for it to be spring. I can't wait more than
I
ever.
I had to do that too, man. Like I said, my car is about my height, so I had to shovel every bit of inch of snow out my driveway so my car could move out because if there's any snow in my way, I was gonna get stuck. So I hope everybody's staying warm out there right now because it is very chilly. But today on the Pull the Chair podcast, we have a lot to talk about. A lot of trades coming up with the trade deadline showing up. Where is Giannis gonna go? Is Giannis gonna go anywhere by the trade deadline? That's coming up in about 10 minutes. Paul George got suspended. Jason Kidd's getting fined. That's going to be coming up. And then, of course, we got the NBA All Star selections. We will get into that as well. But first up, I do want to mention Kevin Durant is now 6th all-time scoring. He passed Dirk Nowitzki and now 6th all-time, only behind Michael Jordan by 530 points. Do you obviously we in 530 points? Most likely he's going to get to that point. It's one of those. How far do you think Kevin Durant can get at this point? Because this doesn't seem like he's slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, Kevin Durant, man. It wasn't just long we were talking about him passing the 7th place, and now he passes my favorite basketball player, Dirk Nowitzki. And how poetic that he does it in a fashion where the bucket to get it was a one-legged fadeaway.
I think he
So
knew. He had to know.
he knows what he's doing. He paid his tribute to Dirk, and right so. Dirk gave him some flowers after the game. But I will say, what's so impressive about this feat is he did it in 350 games less than Dirk Nowitzki did, and that goes to speak to Kevin Durant's efficiency, how good he is, how his tag is easy money sniper. The dude's a sniper, and
Yeah.
he's such a good shooter. I mean, a shot that looks that good will just carry you forever, and that's what he's done. Earlier in his career, he was able to, take it to the hole more, score 3 levels. But as he gets older, he's not slowing down, but it's just because of his shot, how impressive his shot is, his height, his size, his release is so high. I'm a huge Kevin Durant fan. A lot of people have had their opinions on him going to Golden State, but man, you got to give your flowers to somebody that just makes the game look so easy.
Yeah, I mean, he has the type of game that's just absolutely timeless. I mean, we see a lot of players that that do go to the rim and dunk on people's heads, and their careers end up being substantially shorter if they never develop a shot.
Really
That
does.
was something that Kevin Durant never had a problem with. He was always someone that mastered the mid range. He could shoot, he could dot you from three. And keep in mind, he's damn near 7 feet tall. So there's not many players in the NBA that can even guard you face up. Can guard him face up, I should say. And just looking at his stats this year, he's averaging 26 points per game on 51% field goal percentage, 40% from three, almost 90% from the free throw. Like, he's still very efficient for his age. And he's in his late 30s. Like, it's
37.
like
He's
he's
37.
37. He could very well have a LeBron-like career where he's playing into his 40s. I wouldn't rule it out that he climbs past, of the likes of Kobe Bryant. I mean, Karl Malone is going to be the next big friggin' one at
Yeah.
36,928 points. Like, that's going to maybe take him another 2-3 years maybe to get to that point where it's like, as long as Kevin Durant avoids any serious injuries, I don't see him stopping. Like, basketball is his life. There's always going to be a team that's going to want him because he just, what he does on a day-to-day basis, he could just turn it on at will. And when he's on, good luck stopping him.
I mean, at 37 years old, we mentioned he's still averaging 26 points, and at that average, he only needs 21 more games to pass Michael Jordan. I mean, number 5, and we have around 30 games left in the season. So, and with the Rockets being who they are, they're most likely going to be in the playoffs too. So, by the end of this year, this Kevin Durant's going to be top 5. I mean, like I said, next is Kobe Bryant, which I mean, Kobe Bryant is at 33,000, so that might take up until next year. But next year, he most Bryant.
And Kevin Durant has also been pretty candid about his pot smoking, and that doesn't even slow him down. I mean, what will slow this guy down? It's not age. It's not that. What can we find out that'll slow this guy down?
Maybe your dog will slow him down. But but
Got a lot to say about Kevin Durant, man.
yeah, I would too, man. He's a spectacular player.
Like,
But I mean, yeah, it's just again, it's going to be father time. It's going to be injuries. Those are the only two things I think can stop Kevin Durant. If he can pull off a 50, 40, 90 season at the age of 37, I don't have the stat to back it up, but he may be the oldest to ever do it if he manages to get 2 more percentage points on his free throw. He could very well do that.
yeah, at this point, like I said, it's just going to be ages. At what point does he finally start missing his shots? Because at this point, we haven't seen it. There's no at this point at 37, nobody can still stop him. You know, LeBron until really this year and maybe last year, he was getting older, but he's more of he will drive to the rim. LeBron just kind of definitely slowed down this year. But Kevin Durant, I mean, there's been since he's such a good shooter, it's hard to slow that down because it's kind of until he starts missing, there is no age really. It's just until he starts missing, he's gonna keep doing this.
But I
So
will say his work ethic, people can say what they want, but his work ethic is I mean, the dude lives in the gym. Summertime, you see every time you see Kevin Durant, he's in the gym. So, and he even talked about how he emulated some of Dirk's techniques. And so, I got to give my hat off to this guy. As I said, a lot of people aren't necessarily, uh, he's a polarizing figure in the NBA, but you have got to pay your respects to him, what he's done, and how long he's done it for.
I got one more. I got one more thing about his work ethic. How many NBA players have you seen practice their free throw shooting at the club? I wish we had that video, but it's probably one of my favorite videos ever of someone seeing him do his free. Like he could be chasing girls, doing bottle service and all that. Instead, he's just practicing his free throw. So again, I have nothing but respect for his game.
dance moves are NBA moves, are basketball
Dude,
moves.
that could not be his actual form because that didn't look so pretty.
But he had some Henny in him, I mean, again, he definitely wasn't sober,
that might slow him down a little bit. He probably still make the shot though somehow.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
But Kevin Durant, one of my favorite players I've watched all time. I love watching Kevin Durant. So we probably still have a good 3-4 years, and I'm gonna enjoy this while it lasts because at some point it's gonna have to go away. And I mean, we talk about going away. We are getting to the trade deadline where players are moving, and we got our first big trade of the season with the Cavs. The Cavs traded DeAndre Hunter to the Kings. The Cavs got Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder now on his 11th NBA team of all teams. So guy can't stay on a team to save his life. And the Bulls received Dario Saric and 2 second-round picks. Now, guys, I do kind of like this move. I like the move for the Cavaliers. DeAndre Hunter never was a big fan. I understand what they wanted. It was potential. You wanted him to develop into a star small forward. And at this point, he hasn't developed into that. And now they get Keon Ellis, a really young point guard, and Dennis Schroeder. There's a lot of things to say about Dennis Schroeder. Again, this is his 11th NBA team. One thing he can do, though, at point guard, he can distribute the ball. He's a good distributor of the ball. Scoring, he's back and forth. Some games he can score, some games he can't. But he's always been a good distributor of the ball at point guard, and that is a big thing you want, especially coming off the bench.
Amazing trade for the Cavs. Amazing trade. Now, they got rid of Hunter, as you mentioned, who really hasn't been doing much this year, was a good piece in their run, but wasn't going to move the needle for them anymore this season. So you add some perimeter defense and shot making in Keon Ellis, and then you add, as you mentioned, a facilitator and a distributor in Schroeder. Love this move for the Cavs. They're now 30-21. They've won 4 out of the last 5 and 8 out of the last 10. Donovan Mitchell's averaging 28 a game. They got Jalen Tyson, who is absolutely playing amazing basketball.
Balling out this year.
Man, he's been balling. Not to mention what he said the other day after post game. That was ridiculous. But saying that Donovan
Mitchell owns Cleveland, man. Donovan Mitchell owns Cleveland. They didn't earn his jersey.
Yeah, but I mean, we can't deny the fact that the Cavaliers are playing hot basketball, and this was just a great move for them. They're now 5th in the West after having a very bad start to the season. I could see this team really getting hot and being right back where they were last year. And now they just have to do it in the playoffs. But you add some perimeter defense in Keon Ellis that helps Donovan Mitchell in that backcourt defense. And man, what a move! You're getting rid of DeAndre Hunter, who's you're not really going to miss those stats. You're really not.
And you're freeing up a lot of money getting rid of DeAndre Hunter. A lot.
Absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely. Home
call me
run hit for the
crazy.
Cavs.
Call me crazy, but I guess I'm going to be the one that stands up for DeAndre Hunter here. I'll put my foot down and say that he was definitely not the best fit for Cleveland, but he is a solid scorer. He's a very good defender, and there's maybe gonna be 5 things I'll ever say nice about the Kings on this podcast for our entire run. But DeAndre Hunter, mark my words, will probably end up being one of the better players on the Kings. Because, I mean, that's a team that you look at them, they only got 12 wins on the season. But, like, I mean, shit, it's like they got Precious Achua there. I hate Zach LaVine. I hate DeMar DeRozan.
Oh my God,
but
Zach LaVine. Wow.
Who's that?
They're
Wow.
the Sacramento Bulls. They're the Sacramento Bulls. It's just plain and simple. DeMontis Sabonis is good. Keegan, like, these are all solid players, and I think someone like DeAndre Hunter that can play both the forward and the guard can reasonably fit depending on what they need him for. And I just think that his defense is criminally underrated, and that's something that the Kings will definitely need, considering that they don't have much defense outside of really, like, I don't even know. Like, Preston Chua is definitely a good defender, like I said, but it's like they really are lacking on defense.
The
So
Kings have
I
no
think
ball handling now, though. No ball handling. Zach LaVine will be a ball handler to bring the ball up the court.
you know what, man? That's why I said I don't say many nice things about the Kings, man, because it's the DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine show. Where did we see this before? Chicago. Did it go well in Chicago? No. They were always in the play-in year after year. The Kings can't even make the play-in this year. They're freaking garbage. But I do think DeAndre Hunter will be a younger dude that could inject some youth that can be a potential future piece for them. And Dennis Schroeder, he is always someone that has value. But like at the end of the day, there's a reason why he did the rainbow plus black and white. Like he practically did the whole color spectrum as far as teams. Like, he has enough volume to be on a team, but not for long.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it says a lot if you're saying DeAndre Hunter is the best player on a team. That is that was not that good. I'm just gonna say I don't, bet a lot, but every now and then when I do bet, DeAndre Hunter's always on my under. Every single time. I'll always put DeAndre Hunter under point rebound assist, 24.5 point rebound assist. He's always on the under, and I've seen him hit it once maybe, but DeAndre Hunter is just not. He's not what people wanted to be. I say that. He's not what people wanted to be, but I will agree with you that he is a good defender. He's always been a good defender. But I mean, the Kings at this point are trying to get rid of everybody, I say. I mean, they're going to try and get rid of Zach LaVine, I feel like. They're going to try and get rid of DeMar DeRozan. They're going to try and get rid of DeMontis Sabonis. And I mean, other than maybe Sabonis, and Sabonis is the only issue because he's older and he's starting to have injury issues. But you might still get something out of Sabonis, but DeRozan, and Zach LaVine, like you're not going to get much of anything if they try and trade him.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this will be interesting to see for the Cavs whether they're able to gel up because, man, they really do have the pieces and they're a team with as much money as they spent and what they did last year and what they've shown to do. This should be a team that contends in the playoffs. And first big splash of the trade deadline. So let's get going. I'm here for it. I love it. Hopefully we'll see some more action.
How far do you think this takes the Cavaliers, though? Do you think they can make a deep playoff run this year?
I do. I think the East is wide open, a lot more open than people think it is, with Detroit not having any significant postseason success before, losing last year, and the Knicks in the first round. And, Boston is playing really well, but any of those teams, Cleveland can match up against and beat. So I do think that they can contend Eastern Conference Finals, maybe even the NBA Finals.
I think they're a fine team. I do think they're good. You know, I mean they're in the playoff contention perfectly fine. Um, I think for me, what's going to happen is we're going to see the Donovan Mitchell show again, like we see every single year. And I don't think he plays winning basketball per se. Like he can get he'll put up the gaudy 40, 50-point games, but there's the other side of that when the rest of the team isn't getting their shot going, and now you're just leaning on him. Unless if you just expect him to bring you to victory, like I need to see more from Mobley. I want to see more from Jalen Tyson. I want to see more from all these other guys now that, especially because DeAndre Hunter was kind of a log jam for them at that kind of guard kind of spot where now they could kind of get more like of their younger guys in to get more minutes rotation. I think they have potential, but I do think second round is maybe their ceiling, maybe a third round if they get lucky on matchups. But I think that's as far as they go.
You mentioned the Pistons not having, much playoff success or any, all those players are young. They don't really go to the playoffs. But I mean, the Cavaliers have no playoff success since LeBron. I mean, ever since LeBron, the Cavs, if they do make the playoffs, they get beat. Last year, they were the number one seed. They were supposed to be the team in the East 2B, and the Pacers ran through them with ease. So I mean, the Cavs, yes, they've been in the playoffs, but they haven't shown they are a good playoff team, and that's what worries me. And that's been the big issue with Donovan Mitchell as a player, is that he's such a star player. He can score, but in the playoffs, something always happens where his team doesn't make it far. It was like that with the Jazz, and it was like that last year with the Cavs. Again, number one seed, and got not even just, but it was they didn't get beat by the Pacers. They got destroyed by the Pacers. It wasn't close. They won one game, and in one game they were down by 40 points at halftime. Like they had no matchup against them. So that's the worry about the Cavs, and always with Donovan Mitchell is the playoff. Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs always seemed to come up short for some reason.
He's not a facilitator. You can't have someone that always has the ball that's not a facilitator. I mean, sure, you can have a Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordans don't grow on trees. They come once every 20, 30 years if we're lucky, Like LeBron James, he was a more than capable facilitator.
Oh, yeah.
He was able to carry a team because he was able to lead the Cavaliers in all 5 significant categories in the NBA Finals against the 73-win team. That, obviously includes assists. And again, LeBron's another one of those players that is so spectacular that, you'll allow him to control a team like that. Steph Curry, I'd put in that realm too, because he's so lights out and he can do some facilitating if he needs to. Donovan Mitchell, though, is kind of more of a bucket getter, just get to the hole, get to the rim, and it works until it doesn't. And once those shots don't fall, then the Cavaliers start floundering, and then what do?
Y'all bring up a good point. You definitely do. On paper, though, the Cavs, the way this roster is constructed, comparatively to all the other teams in the East, they should be right there. Now, whether that'll translate, well, that's up to, like y'all said, Donovan Mitchell. But if Donovan Mitchell's playing his best brand of basketball, and we'll see what Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder add to it. But let's get this team healthy. And I wouldn't want to play him. I wouldn't want to play this team.
And we talk about the playoffs. I mean, we can do a lot of speculation, but a big part of that would be if Giannis gets traded. If he gets traded to a team in the East, that could make a big difference. And now there's a good amount of teams that are talking about trading for him, which again, it's Giannis. Who wouldn't want to trade for him? There's a lot of talk about the Warriors trading for him. It might be the worst idea I think I've heard in my life. I don't know why the Bucks would trade Giannis to the Warriors. I get it. They keep talking about getting first round picks, but basically, if they go to the Warriors, they're saying, we don't care about winning anymore. We just want to restart. And that sounds terrible for just so many of the other things you can get for trading someone like a Giannis. You don't get people like Giannis around. If you're going to trade him, you need to be able to trade him for a team that's going to win soon. Now, I trade him and we'll see what's going to happen in the next 5 years and hope these picks work out. So I hate the idea of him going to the Warriors. That's my first thing.
Yeah, go ahead, Dylan.
I just think the Bucks have so much to worry about. Like Giannis did his time. He brought them a championship. During that championship, you had the likes of Chris Middleton playing his best basketball of his career. You had Drew Holiday in his prime, who was a spectacular guard, both sides of the ball. You had your Brooke Lopez's of the world. Like you had a very strong team, very strong all around team. Since that finals, a lot of those pieces got let go. Somehow Brooke Lopez is still around. I don't know how. But, the best that they've done is get an agent Damian Lillard and get Kyle Kuzma. You're telling me that you're going to somehow get some pieces to put around Damian Lillard and Kyle Kuzma to make you a contender. I'm sorry, it's not happening. So at the end of the day, yes, you want to get the best trade value possible. If the Warriors are going to mortgage their future for Giannis, it's going to suck telling your fans, hey, man, we're going to go back to sucking again. But, I'd rather start stockpiling picks, and they're still going to have to get players regardless. Like I think Giannis is going to have to be a 3-team trade because of this whole CBA thing. You can't just salary dump. You got to match your salary. So they're still going to get players regardless. I don't think it's just going to be like it's going to be a 2-team trade. It's going to be a 3-4-team trade. So they could get a couple picks. They could get a couple players, but they have to blow it up. I'm sorry. It's just over.
You got to think. Good.
And you know what? So at first I said in the chat I didn't think Giannis would be moved by the deadline. I'm starting to think he will.
It's heating up, Barry.
If you don't trade him right now by the offseason, you give him all the control in the future. Now, I have heard recently today that he understands the stigma around Kevin Durant going to the Warriors, and on the Warriors front, if they do, they're going to have to give up Jimmy Butler. They're saying they're not going to give up Jimmy Butler, but they're going to have to give up. They're going to have to match the salary, and they trade Draymond and a bunch of picks. Well, besides if they do all that, because what the Bucks want now is a up and coming player, bunch of picks. They want what they should get out of him, which is a haul. And the Warriors, if they do that, Steph Curry, Giannis, and who else? Who else is going to fill that roster? So I'm starting to think,
what else do you need if you got Steph Curry and Giannis, man? You got a shooter and you got somebody who can rebound.
I think Kuminga is going to be in that trade package. Kuminga's been dying to get the hell out of the Warriors.
But again, I just don't think that's enough. I would, even if the Warriors gave me John the Kuminga, Jimmy Butler in their picks for Giannis, I don't like it.
I don't think Giannis wants to go there. The other two, Miami and Minnesota, between the picks and the players, they're offering more players now. And Miami is including Tyler Herro in the deal and picks. But if they wait till the offseason, Miami has more draft capital. So there's just so many factors in this trade. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes, if he goes somewhere in the next couple of days. And I'm here for it, man. I'm here. I think Giannis has done his time in Milwaukee. I think he's been loyal to that city. I think he's done everything he could. There's not any stretches on his back for going to a different team at this point. They've done nothing but just, like Dylan said, Kyle Kuzma, dude, that dude needs to retire. He's awful. Miles Turner, they brought Miles Turner in.
I forgot
that hasn't done nothing.
Exactly. And, see, people forget about Miles Turner. That's how bad it is. It's funny. Miles Turner, coming from the Pacers guy, Miles Turner was on our team for 10 straight years, and probably 8 out of those 10 years, every year around the trade deadline, he was talking about being traded. Now he goes to a new team who's probably, if they trade, they're talking a lot of trades for Giannis, and a lot of pieces back are them getting a star center who would probably replace him. So, he left the Pacers to go to another team who's probably still going to replace him.
Listen, man, as a Celtics fan, I was dying for Miles Turner for years, man. I was so man, Miles Turner is as an idea, is a great idea. But in practice, I'm all set, man.
His good games, you're like, yes, that's the Miles Turner. When he has his 25 point, 12 rebound, 3 blocks a game, you're like, see, that's the Miles Turner we want. And then you won't see that for another 3 months. Then he'll go back to putting up, 8.6 rebounds, maybe 3 rebounds, and you're like, you are 7 foot. How are you getting 3 rebounds? The dude, very inconsistent. But back to Giannis, that Miami trade with the idea of them trading Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, which I do like the idea of Khalil Ware moving, Jamie McJackers, and multiple first-round picks.
That's enticing.
To me, that's the most enticing option on the board right now. I haven't seen Minnesota's package, but you know that Giannis would love a culture like Miami. And man, it seems like Pat Riley has been so apprehensive about getting, you know, big names in the offseason and even at the deadline. Maybe he's been waiting. Maybe he's been waiting for somebody like Giannis, and maybe he's ready to pull the trigger. And if it's Pat Riley and if something that he wants to do, he's going to find a way to get it done.
The Heat were dying to get Damian Lillard, and the Trailblazers were so spiteful on not getting Lillard to the Heat that I think they are going to be all in on getting Giannis, because he's such a star. He does so much for you. I think the worst part about Giannis is how do you build around him, because he has such a unique game style with the fact that he can't shoot for his life. He needs the ball a lot. He's gonna drive to the rim and dunk through your head. Like, he's gonna do that, and he's gonna be impeccable at defense, but you gotta have shooters around him. I do think the Heat still have plenty of shooters, even with that hero, that I think they'll be more than capable of being just fine. But again, it's such a delicate balance with that. It really is.
Grant saying Giannis is such a waffler.
Whoa, okay, British Barry.
Barry's shout out to Barry. He's very outspoken about Giannis.
Listen, I don't think necessarily it's hard to build around Giannis. I think the issue with the Bucks is that it's Milwaukee. So similar to the Pacers, you don't have much cap space and cap room to get good players. With the Pacers, being in Indiana, our issue always was we get a star player, like for a while we had Paul George, and then we couldn't pay him and he'd leave. We had Victor Oladipo for a couple of years, and instead of not paying him, we just traded him away. But when you're in such a smaller market, it's so hard to have a star player like a Giannis and build players around them because everybody wants their money, and teams like a Milwaukee isn't going to have the money to give all those people. So I feel like that's where the issue comes in, where if he goes to a team like a Miami or, let's talk about him going to the Knicks, because there's always talks about every player in the NBA will always go to the Knicks. Anytime a player is available, it's talking about him going to the Knicks. But you go to a bigger market, it's a little bit easier to build around because you have the money. My thought is if the Heat goes to the Heat, you have Bam and Giannis. They will have no guards at all. Their team at this point would be literally a center and a power forward.
Space is limited. Spacing is limited, and you're going to be losing a lot of guard power because Hero can ball. Like he hasn't been playing a lot. He's been dealing with a rib problem recently. He's been missing a lot of games, but he's a solid 25 point per game guy when he's on his game.
And you can share that with Ryan Rollins from the Bucks, who's really good this year.
I will say Miami does have a lot of young prospects. They have Davion Mitchell, who could play the guard, and they also have Jovic. I didn't want to confuse him with Jokic, but
there's been talks about Jovic being part of this trade too, though. So
how many?
Because it's either between Jamie or Jovic of which one the other player they'd add into it.
Yeah, they can't give them both.
Give up Jaquez because you need guards.
You do. Again, the Bucks, like I said, they're getting Tyler Hero, plus they have Ryan Rollins. That's two great guards. Then they'd have, Porter and Trent coming off the bench. You'd have some bench help. Miami just seems the most enticing, 100%.
And with all due respect to the people in Milwaukee, I've been to Milwaukee once. It's a beautiful city. There ain't shit to do, man. Like, it's not a destination place to be. Like, if you want to get some cheese, great. You want to go by the water. The stadium's nice. The surrounding area is full of nice people. Trust me, Milwaukee's full of nice people. No shade to them. But no one's gonna say like, wow, I really want to see what Milwaukee's like in the winter. No one wants, not even people in Wisconsin want to say that. They're just forced to live
I'd
there.
rather be in Milwaukee than Indy, though. I tell you that, because I went to Milwaukee last year. And granted, this is somebody coming who's lived in Indiana all his life, so that I am kind of biased seeing Milwaukee the first time. Milwaukee, at least you can go to the beach for half the year. They have their along the river. If you're in Indy, you have to go all the way north to basically Chicago to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee has a baseball team. Indiana does not have that. So we don't have a baseball team. So
Green Bay's up there somewhere. I forgot how far away.
They're like 2 hours away. So I mean, like, I'm not gonna say it's the best city to be because it's definitely not. But there's worse. There's worse. There's worse. Okay.
If you want a peaceful life, you go to Milwaukee.
You can't buy alcohol after 8 o'clock. I tell you that. I found that out in Milwaukee. That sucks.
Yeah,
that sucks.
That's tough.
But I think Miami is the most enticing. Minnesota's a little enticing for the fact of where if he goes to the Timberwolves and if you pair Ant with Giannis, an Anthony Edwards or Giannis combination would be dangerous. Now their package is more, from what I've seen, looks like Julius Randle and Jaden McDaniels are the two big players they'd give to um the Bucks plus some picks.
Yeah.
Which
You can live with that. Nas Reed still exists. I'm all in on Nas Reed.
So I mean, the Timberwolves would have Ant, Giannis, Gobert, and Nas Reed, and the Bucks would be having Miles Turner, Julius Randle, Jaden McDaniels, and Ryan Rollins to start, plus some picks. So I mean,
that's a team. That's a team.
I hear the Nets are a dark horse, just because they got all the capital and the assets.
Porter's got to go somewhere.
And so, he said Giannis has spoken about New York before. Again, there's going to be a lot of teams come up. There's going to be so much. Yeah, Knicks have faded out.
Always there. But I don't see it. Every year there's a player that's supposed to go to the Knicks, and it normally doesn't happen. But I don't see Cat going to the Bucks, and the Bucks having to try and get rid of Miles, because once that trade happens, at that point, they're gonna have Cat starting, and you have $125 million center on the bench.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, at least Cat could play the 4. He could play, because he's not a true big. We're being honest, he's a tall guy, but he doesn't play like a big. He's probably the best 3-point tall dude.
Though, because Cat will at least fight for a rebound. Miles Turner's not doing that most games.
Yeah, less than 72 hours until the deadline. There could be so much more that happens, and we frankly probably don't know about it all. But those are the 3 offers we're hearing about. So hey, popcorn's ready. Might take a PTO day that day. We'll see what's going on.
I do think it's funny how the Knicks are a lot of talk, and none of us are kind of big on him going to the Knicks. It just always seems like they're there. Every year it's the Knicks.
Well, it's like the Lakers.
It's like the Lakers. It is like the Lakers.
Yeah, a report I read today said the Knicks aren't, and it could be poker face, but I heard the Knicks aren't aggressively pursuing him as we thought they would. But that again, a lot is said about the trade deadline. We saw what happened last year. Let's not get into it. But
what about John Morant? Do we see John Morant being moved? That's someone that I've been looking at that no one wants him. He's
forgot about that man. Forgot about that man, John Morant.
He's hurt for a while still. Everybody on his team hates him. He's practically begging to leave. But he's gonna be one of those guys to be a pain in the ass where he wants to go to a destination. I'm seeing on Hoops Height that he wouldn't sign a long-term deal at the Kings, which I wouldn't blame him. It's the freaking Kings. But it's if you want to leave, you can't be picky, man. Your trade value is through the dirt right now.
Yeah, his trade value is almost next to nothing.
If the Kings could get rid of DeRozan and Levine for John Morant, and you go in there with John Morant, DeAndre Hunter, Domantas Sabonis,
that'd be fun.
Why not give it a shot?
I know Sacramento's the north side of California. It's not as fun as the LA side, but it's still California. It's still beautiful.
Do we need John Morant in LA? Don't we need John Morant?
Well, that's why you keep on the north side. You tell them, do not go south side. You're only north side of California. Enjoy the redwoods forest. Maybe go to Oregon if you want to have a little fun. But again, you gotta stay away from LA. Please, Rob. Please.
I forgot about John Morant, man. I don't think.
Yeah, send his ass to Milwaukee. Maybe
send him to Milwaukee.
You'll go to NBA headquarters and do terrible things to the NBA headquarters if he got forced to Milwaukee. He would do things I cannot say on YouTube. Let's just put it that way.
Do not send John Morant to Milwaukee. That's the last place I mean.
Almost bad as Detroit.
I don't know what would be worse. I don't know what would be worse.
Or Memphis.
I don't think John Morant gets moved with that trade deadline. It's one of those, by the end of the season, he's got to go somewhere. They got to get rid of him for something. But in 72 hours, I don't think there's going to be a team that just cares enough. With the fact that Giannis is out right now, that's what people care about. John Morant, they're we'll talk about, we'll get to him when we get to him,
Yeah, Shams reported earlier that, he's still somebody that could be moved at the deadline. But again, we're just gonna have to wait and see. Uh,
I just don't see it happening. I will say
Yeah.
we're talking. Good.
Sorry, I got it. I just got one dumb joke. Send him to Charlotte. Him, Lamelo Ball, Brandon Miller get the time of their lives. That's all I'm gonna say.
Dang,
No veterans, no adults,
Hey, yeah, him and
no
Miles
adults in the
Bridges,
locker room.
him and Miles Bridges.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, Miles Bridges. Oh man, no veterans, no responsible people in that locker room. Then you'll see some true fun basketball. Some
Oh,
real
no.
fun basketball we played.
Those celebrations would be insane.
We're gonna talk about the Hornets a little bit later, but they are fun. I mean, the young group is fun. You had a John Moran over there. I don't see that winning, but it'd be fun. It'd be fun to watch.
It
But
would be fun.
we were talking about LA for a moment. I do want to mention, just speaking about, guy from LA, Paul George got suspended for 25 games for trying to take medication for mental health that he didn't know was going to violate the rules. It's one of those, I feel like I should have a lot to say about Paul George, just knowing him for so long.
This is one thing I want to say about that is he's said in the past that he might have struggled with mental health. But if you
Right.
are using mental health as a cop out for this or blaming it on that, I need to know more. Because you're walking a thin line doing that, Paul
Like what type
George.
of medication? Like we don't even know what type of medication. Like it could be
Exactly.
Adderall. It could be like some kind of illicit drug. I mean, hell, I mean, like it could be some real bad narcotics for all we know, because like some people use narcotics to deal with mental health. Like we don't know what he's taking. Like at least we know what Bobby Portis last year when he got suspended, that it was just not a legal painkiller. Which I mean, again, painkillers are just like, I get it, man. Your body's hurting playing 82 games in this season. Like you gotta take some kind of painkiller. And it was one of those things that like the name of it was like it was like so close to being a legal drug, but it just wasn't the right type of legal drug. But at least we know.
Right.
This is so ambiguous,
It doesn't seem right that because if you're on a mental health plan, I'm very educated on the subject myself. If you're on a plan with your doctor, obviously the NBA would know about those medicines. But if you're just taking certain medications and saying it's mental health, get out of here. Like that's not how, and that's not a good remedy for it either. Paul George has been a total disappointment in Philly. Yeah, I feel bad for Tyrese Maxey. And I feel bad for the rest of those Philly guys. They were just gelling. But Paul George has some looking to do in the mirror. And let me be very clear. If this is a real mental health issue, I respect it totally. But what I'm hearing is not in the lines of that. If that could be fair.
What I have to say is he's just been in the league way too long to not know what's legal and what's not legal, right?
Right.
Because I don't, at this point, him saying it's a mental health thing, I'm not going to be the one to say it's not. A lot of people struggle with that, so I believe it is. But if you're going to take medication for help for that, for how long he's been in the league, he has to know the protocol you have to go through with that and what's legal and what's not legal. At that point, he has to know that.
I mean, there's sports psychologists and psychiatrists. Like the NBA can give you any kind of help that you need. And yes, as an NBA player, like you don't live a private life. I can't imagine the type of shit he gets told to on a day-to-day basis, whether on the internet or in person. Like I guarantee you, he deals with a lot of stuff. So I understand wanting to numb that stuff and how that may drive you crazy over time. And especially with how bad things are in 76ers, I'm sure it's only getting worse for him as far as the nasty stuff people say about him. So, like, as someone that has dealt with mental health myself, albeit not on the level like where I'm like a super celebrity making millions of dollars, of course, it's like I want to understand, but clearly it wasn't prescribed. There's no way this is a prescribed medication, because if you went through the proper channels, I'm sure they would have had like, okay, this is a drug that you can take for your mental health. Like clearly there has to be more to it with how ambiguous they are about it. That's the only thing that can be said. Like if you look at NBA.com, you look at the news report on this, 2 or 3 sentences. Like they're purposely keeping like quiet on what this is about.
Hate that.
And not only this last thing, not only is he going to miss 25 games, this is costing him around $11 million for doing this as well. So,
He's got a
I-
podcast. He'll be
huh?
fine. He's got a podcast. He'll make that money back.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's 11 million of his
PEDP.
$51 million contract. So I mean, like, but still, that just goes to show again, this is something. Obviously, this is something major that he's missing 25 games and he's gonna miss out on $11 million on his contract for this. It's that, and again, if this was for mental health, what he, getting caught like this is only gonna make things worse. He's losing money. He's getting suspended games. I guess I just say he should know at this point what he can and can't do. And like guys mentioned, they're being very quiet, so we don't have no even idea what it was. And what's
Yeah,
going on.
and again, I think we're all on the same page. Mental health is not a joke. It's very important. It's important for everybody. If he's dealing with it, you know, all the prayers and whatever he needs. But it's not something that you play with either. It's not something that you use to throw out there for an accountability type thing. So, we don't. That's all we know right now. So, I just wanted to be clear on that.
And then moving subjects, I do want to mention, you being having a Mavericks fan in here, Jason Kidd got fined, today, a couple days ago, for defending Cooper Flag, from what I saw, because they tried to move Cooper Flag to point guard, and people want to question him. Like Cooper Flag hasn't had a great year this year.
Yeah, that was a interesting post game. And it started with a reporter saying that he was getting nationally criticized for playing Cooper Flag at the point guard, and I've never seen so many F-bombs dropped by Jay Kidd in the matter of a 5 minute span. The dude went ham on that reporter, and and
Yeah,
and then proceeded to talk about the officials, which have not been great. They've never been great. I just think it paints some of the frustration going on with Jake Kidd, and the thought of him having a healthy AD, Kyrie coming back with Cooper Flag. So I just think this is just a lot of frustration coming out of Kidd. But I will say, you stick up for your player, and
he sure do, and he sure
and
did.
and you definitely know he definitely has shown he can develop players. Giannis, and not too long ago, it was about a week or two, people were saying, "Oh," and he's been getting shit for this flag thing all along, but 42 points, the way this dude's playing, how can you say it's been a bad thing?
Right.
I mean,
Cooper Flag is rookie of the year,
he's
100%.
he's he's youngest to ever, score the 42 and he had 49
We're
actually the
9 and
other.
10.
And so, I get Jay Kidd, and I'm glad he stuck up for his player. But if you take a look at it, I think it's more on a deeper level frustration coming out for how the season's going. And so, hey, I'm Dallas till I die. But
Yeah.
hey, you know,
I mean, I understand him getting fined for dropping a bunch of F-bombs. I'm not one to clutch my pearls and say, think about the kids. But, like, yeah, I mean, you can't be cursing at the reporter's post game. But I will say, I am sick and tired of players and coaches having to walk on eggshells as far as talking about these refs. Because time and time again, we've seen players and coaches, like, there's one thing about getting mad about a call, but like we've seen coaches get in refs' faces and be like so angry that like I don't think this vitriol has ever reached this point. And I think as a collective, like fans, players, coaches, like we all kind of seem fed up with how these refs have been. And the NBA does nothing but shield these refs and be like, oh, it's totally fine for them to not be accountable for what they do. Like the most accountability that they do is like do the post game, like, oh, at this time, this foul shouldn't have been a foul, or oh, this should have been a foul. Like, okay, great. Thanks for
That
putting
doesn't
on a
do anything.
website.
That
Yeah,
does
exactly.
nothing.
Thanks for putting on a website that no one fucking looks at. It's like, oh, great, wow. Now I know my team got fucked, but like, is anything gonna happen about it? No. It's just gonna go back to next game when when Jaylen Brown gets friggin' his eye poked out of his head and still doesn't get fouled for it. Like, it doesn't change anything. And these refs don't have to answer or be accountable by any means. They don't have an easy job, of course, but it's like when is enough enough? Like it's like, and this is not just an NBA thing. We could talk about all the other sports where we can like no one could ever be happy about the refs, but it does feel like there's something weird about these NBA refs where it's somehow worse than it's been in previous years.
They want to be too involved in the game. They want to be the players themselves. You know, the game goes on, and they have to get themselves involved and start calling things on their own. It just ruins the game. I mean, I've seen been a lot of people being ejected this year. You know, you had the Timberwolves game. The Timberwolves was a Thunder game where the Timberwolves coach got kicked out. You know, but once he got kicked out, guess what happened? The Timberwolves started getting all the foul calls. But it's just like, why did I have to yell at the ref and get myself kicked out? For y'all to start realizing, hey, maybe you should start calling fouls on the other team.
Yeah, it's not a good look for the NBA that they gave these guys headsets like they could fix the calls by getting told in the headset, and then they're still making and they still can't get it right. I mean, yeah, this is an ongoing thing, but hey, you just got to play through it. This is not a new thing, so but you're a
It just
professional.
seems like it's getting worse. You know, it seems like that's why we're seeing so many things happen this year. It just seems like there's no accountability, and refs, things happen, and then they might come out later and say, "Oh yeah, we missed a call." Okay, thanks for letting me know that. Thanks for letting me know we missed a call. So it is frustrating, and something needs to be done. But until really like the commissioner says something, nothing will ever get done. So it is frustrating, and you can kind of see it starting to have an effect on players and coaches because you're seeing a lot more players and coaches start arguing with refs during the game. So at some point, I feel like something has to be done. But I will, move on to our last two topics. I do want to mention the Hornets. We mentioned, talking a little bit about the Hornets, about, just making a joke about John Morant. But the Hornets, with this group of LaMelo, Bridges, Knupu, Brandon Miller, and Diabate, they're 11-2 with that group out. And in the month of January, they had the most wins. They had the highest point differential out of all the teams, and they had the most 10-point wins in January. This is a hot team. I don't know.
Absolutely.
This team's dealt with a lot of injuries, a lot of people getting hurt, and it shows this team has no depth. If one player is not playing, there's nobody else to step up for that team at all. But
Yeah,
this
and
is
and
dangerous.
yeah, they are, and to win seven in a row for the first time in 25 years is obviously big. This coach has them playing hard every single night. You got Brandon Miller, who's been on a tear. He's only averaging 20 points, but he's doing so with maximum efficiency, shooting 43% from the three and 48% from the twos. And then you got both Bridges and Concanupul as a rookie, averaging 18 plus points. Man, and this team is feisty too on defense.
Yeah.
You got Colin Sexton coming off the bench adding a spark. You got Josh Green still. You got Grant Williams. You just got a bunch of dogs out there, and I'm glad to see them having some success. I've given LaMelo Ball some grief lately, but man, he's even been playing really, really good basketball. So my thing is you got to give that coach a lot of credit for what he's doing. They've moved up to within a game out of the play-in when they started the season almost like awfully, nowhere even close. So big shout out to the Charlotte Hornets. So we'll see if they could sustain it after the All-Star break. But they got to be feeling good going to the All-Star break.
I mean, like the Charlotte Hornets are one of the most tortured franchises in the league. Like I'm just happy to see them do well. Like, because like how many times have they gotten high draft picks and they almost feel like they're snake bitten? I mean, LaMelo Ball has been someone that's been very good, very solid. I mean, Brandon Miller, like he's been going off, like he's been playing, like his life is on the line. Like I don't know what's up with him, but he's been going crazy. And then Concanupul, Rookie of the Year. I mean, is he not?
If it wasn't for Cooper Flag,
easy.
If it wasn't
Put
for
the brakes
Listen,
on
man,
that.
look at the rookie ladder right now, bro.
Put the
They're
brakes
in,
on that.
I love you, Tyler. I love Cooper Flag, but I trust me. I remember seeing draft day, seeing Concanupul, and I wanted to hate him. But he's just so damn good. And he may not even be the best of the brothers. He's not even the tallest brother of all of this. Like he's like the oldest, but he's not the tallest. So there's going to be a couple more Knupples coming out soon that probably they're going to be like the Plumleys, but on juice. Because I mean, if Knuckle is anything to show, it's going to be a Knuckle future. So
Yeah.
I do think this Hornets team finally has some hope and promise. I mean, this year maybe a little too late, but they actually have something to build on. Like they just
Absolutely.
need veterans. You just need veterans. They have no veterans. They have no like
None.
leading adult in the room that tells you like this is how to play winning basketball. They just have fun. Have fun
Yeah.
out there, man.
Listen, they haven't. They're playing just pickup ball out there, and it works. You know, I mean, Lamelo Ball might be the best pickup basketball player you can see on the court right now because he's entertaining to watch, but he's just gonna do random stuff. You don't know what he's gonna do with the ball. You kind of just have to be ready because he might pull up, he might drive to the rim, the ball might end up in your hands. You have no idea what he's gonna do, but it's entertaining to watch, and he finally has a team around him who's showing, they will be ready for if the ball gets to their hands, they're gonna score, they'll do something with it. As you mentioned, Brandon Miller's just been real efficient. Con Knuppel can kind of do a little bit of it all. He can shoot and get to the rim. And you got a center who loves just doing the pick and roll, which works beautiful with a Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball. So, and all he wants to do is pick and roll rebound. So it's a really fun core that if they can just add some players to, in a couple years we'll have another team in the East that's going to be lookout for. And I'm worried about that just because if the Pacers can become good next year again, which I have a lot of faith in. LaMelo has been a thorn in our side. Every time we face the Hornets, LaMelo puts up at least 30 and at least 12 assists per game. So if he has a team around him now, that would be an issue. That's going to be a big issue for us. So
That win on Sunday against San Antonio was impressive. Very,
yeah,
very big win for the Hornets. They're not just beating the lower. They've beaten Oklahoma City already. Now they go in San Antonio and beat them. Maybe they're worth talking about in the second half of the season.
Maybe.
you got Alex saying nobody listened to Three Stooges. Crazy.
I
But
don't know who Alex is, but hey, Alex, thanks for joining us.
final topic I do want to mention. NBA All-Star list got announced. Got the West starters of Stephen Curry, Luka, Shai, Jokic, and Wembanyama. And you got the East starters of Giannis, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey. Straight guards over there on the East. Nothing but guards, and then Giannis on the East. And the West have a little bit of everything as their starting lineup. And then the reserves for the West, you got Denny Avdija, first time him being in the All-Stars, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, Chet, LeBron making it for this 22nd year in a row. LeBron.
Every
and
year of his
Jamal Murray.
career.
And the East reserves, you got Scotty Barnes, Jalen Duren, Jalen Johnson, which I've really liked Jalen Johnson this year. He's been real impressive this year. Norman Powell, Pascal Siakam, and Karl Anthony Towns. That is your lineup for this 2026 All-Stars. Thoughts on that, guys? I think the West just has such a better team. It's so more talented than the East.
Frankly, I'm a huge basketball fan. I wish I could be more excited about the NBA All-Star game, but it's just not happening. Yeah, I mean, what we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years, and there is a new format this year, but I'm not, I'm not excited.
The
I
All-Star
mean,
games for sports recently have just kind of gone down. For almost all the sports, really. They've kind of dropped the ball on it. They're all trying to figure out new things, but every new thing they bring in just kind of almost seems to make it worse more than
I
make
mean,
it better.
shout out to the guys that haven't made it before. That's big, but the game in totality, it's I used to love watching Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, those dogs in an All-Star game. Kobe Bryant, I think, would be throwing elbows in an All-Star game. Now you got people patting each other, patty cakes on the butt and stuff. So it's
No
you know
defense.
it,
No, nobody cares to play.
I
yeah.
mean, I if I'm not mistaken, they are doing like a format where it's like America versus the rest of the world, which I think could be a
That'd
fun
be interesting.
concept.
That could be
Because
interesting.
I mean, I wish I had because I know because that's a problem with the NBA All Star Game. They're changing up the format every year. They're always trying to do something. They can never stick to one thing, and that's somehow, some way, the NBA they have like the best product, but the worst marketing team. I've never seen a worse marketing team ever. Like you could get like I'd
I
rather
don't know.
have the
MLB is pretty bad. MLB is pretty bad.
well, I mean, yeah, but then you still they could at least still talk about their stars in a positive light. I remember the past couple of years, I've never seen like the pundits, like the actual professional pundits that do it for a living, just constantly negatively talk about their own players and always put them down and like the comparison talk, like we talk about ad nauseum where it's like LeBron versus Jordan. I feel like that talk, like I understand the importance of it, but do we need to talk about it every year ad nauseum? Like it's just like it's really like so again, like if they do the thing where it's America versus the rest of the world, like I do think with pride on the line, like that's one way you can hit these players where it's like, all right, I'm gonna try now. Where I'm not gonna let the foreigners beat us. America, this is our sport. We made this. We came up with it. Even though technically Canada came up with it, but still, it's just still the fact of like NBA is an American league. Like there's a pride to it.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that's the case. But as far as players, I want to mention one or two of my favorite snubs. Lauri Markkanen with the Utah Jazz has been spectacular.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, the Western Conference is like a who's of players, but he's someone that's like borderline top 10 in points per game at 27 points per game. He can get you 7 boards. He's extremely efficient. He's been like he's been like the one bright person in Utah, but at the end of the day, it's Utah.
I was gonna say, it literally comes down to it being the Utah Jazz. Like
nobody's watching Jazz games, so I get why Lauri Markkanen didn't get the flowers that I think he deserves. I do think that the Eastern Conference lineup is very questionable. Like I love Norman Powell, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't scream star to me. Jalen Johnson's very good. He's been very good. So I have no problems with him. But
Jalen Duren's been real good this year.
Jalen Duren's been good, but I have questions about Scotty Barnes. Like I really don't think he's.
It's like the name. The name carries him.
He's been playing
it's
well.
It's a popularity contest. I mean, he's been playing well, but I'd rather have Michael Porter Jr. out there. Talk about someone that has a highlight tape that he'll just shoot in anyone's face and
this is the type of game. He'll just shoot it. He'll just shoot the ball. He does.
He was built for the All-Star game, and the Nets have nothing else to talk about besides Michael Porter Jr. Really. So I would have loved to see him on the Eastern Conference team over like a Powell or a Scotty Barnes, but obviously they're on more like Scotty Barnes, more well-known name. The Miami Heat had to have a representative because they always have a representative because Miami Heat's one of the biggest fan bases in the NBA. So Norman Powell, I guess, is all they could really offer up this year. But like they could have came up with someone better.
Not Bam Adebayo. Like what happened to Bam?
He's not been having a good year.
Exactly.
I guess, but
no Paolo. Where's Paolo? Where's friggin'?
He's been out He was out at least the start of the season, wasn't he? I feel like I haven't heard his name much this year at all.
He's played 38 games. He averages 21. Like he hasn't reached the 40 mark yet. But Wemby's in the All-Star game at 35 games played. So like, where do we draw the line?
Yeah, that is true.
Very good point.
I do mention, at least with this All-Star, there are 6 new players for the first time making the All-Star game. And those 6 players, it's Denny Avdija, Jalen Duren, Chet, Jalen Johnson, Jamal Murray, and Norman Powell. Obviously Norman Powell, but Jamal Murray. This is Jamal Murray's first ever All-Star appearance.
Wow.
Deserved. He's been very good.
I would have thought he would have made it at this point, though. It took him this long for them. The only reason he's making it is probably because Jokic has been injured.
Well, he's in Jokic's shadow. That's the thing. Jokic is always the Nuggets representative. Now he's not there. Murray's been playing spectacular. So he deserves it.
He does, but it's like, man, he's been overlooked this long. Like, Jamal Murray is... I guess I'll say this. Jamal Murray has hot and cold streaks. He gets real hot and looks really good, but he can go really cold, and he'll have games where you don't mention his name at all, really. So... That's his only issue, but I would have first time. I would have never thought this is Jamal Murray's first time making it. Now Norman Powell, I don't think he'll ever make it again. Honestly, Norman Powell.
This is lighting the bottle for him.
I'm gonna end up watching it, but I want to see some actual basketball. I don't want to see no kiki kaka stuff going on.
No, you can't see that. The only thing I want to say, which I've seen mentioned, but they never do it. Why don't we ever get a one-on-one competition in this basketball in the basketball All-Star games? I feel like that could be very entertaining because you could get players that you wouldn't expect to win it because these NBA players, they all have moves. They're all good. You put them in a one-on-one match, I feel like it would surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, they
But
know that wouldn't be right without Kyrie Irving suiting up, the ultimate one-on-one
I mean,
stud.
Kyrie, that'd be the one of the people I want to see the most is Kyrie in a one-on-one. Put Kyrie in it. They should,
Yeah,
because I feel
Kyrie,
like they could do a one-on-one for each position. Obviously,
shout,
Kyrie,
shout out
Kyrie
to
is cool.
Kyrie.
Yeah.
are we ever going to see Kyrie this season, man? End it off? Are we going to
Uh,
see him this year?
Man, he's gonna be ready. He's gonna be ready at the end of this month. But whether Dallas front office thinks it's worth it to roll him out, Dallas front office does want to see Anthony Davis, Kyrie, and Cooper Flag team up and play before they make a decision on Anthony Davis long term. So hey, I'm all for it. But again, this is the only year in the next four that we control our first round pick. So there's a lot of discussion about that still. We'll see. We'll
That's
see.
coming from you. Do you want to see Kyrie out there by
Oh,
this
dude,
year?
I'm a basketball guy. I want to see Kyrie play any chance I get. Dude's one of my favorite players to watch in the whole NBA. He just brings so much to the game, brings so much to the team. His leadership, his playmaking, his shot, his handle. Yeah, man, I would love to see Kyrie play today.
Who doesn't want to see Kyrie play, man? He's one of the most entertaining players there is. But I will say that is going to wrap it up on today's episode of the Pull the Chair podcast. Stay tuned every Monday at 9 o'clock on the Grid Network as we will be here. Stay tuned on our Instagram and our X as that trade deadline is in the next 72 hours. So we're going to have to be very active on that because somebody's going to get moved. Is Giannis going to get moved? I mean, I think so. But the
I
trade
hope
deadline in 72 hours, the last 24, 40 hours of that, you could see just trades left and right. So
Lace up the sneakers.
stay
yes.
tuned on our Instagram and X to keep up with all the trades in the NBA. And stay tuned as we'll be back next Monday at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on the Grid Network.